Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm not quite sure about this, but we're going to do our best. All right. Erin wanted me to come on here and share some information. Everybody needs to understand that Erin has researched, and the mask that she has us making is the one that she's been able to get approved by several individuals that matter. Okay. So I posted the other day about my mantra is to work smarter, not harder. So basically what I've done is I started with cutting 100 pieces of fabric, and I've been working with that 100. Of course, life gets in the way, so not everything has been running as smoothly as it possibly can. I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you my setup, and then I'm going to share with you how I'm going about doing this, and if there's any questions. I'm not really going to be able to answer your questions probably as doing this, but I will come back on and check all of the comments and see how I can address any of that. And if need be, I'll just go live again to explain anything that might need to be explained. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera around. All right, so I'm going to try to do this as slowly as possible. As you can see, here is my pile that I'm working with. All right, and I'm at different stages. I have my elastic all ready. I have my wires ready. I try to have ready as much as needed so that everything will run smoothly. Okay, so here's my finished mask. It looks like it's blurry. Here's the finished mask. You can see the wire in there because it's white fabric, and it opens here for the filter. Okay, which is very important. That filter is what's going to help everybody. All right. So I start with this is 7.5 by 15 inches long. Okay. Having camera issues. Okay, so that's 7.5 by 15-inch long sheet. All right, and then the first step I do is, I know everybody thinks that I'm maybe wasting time, but in the end I think I'm actually saving time. So the very first step is I put it on my ironing table and I iron up a piece like this. I'm going to bring you over there. I need to see what I'm showing you guys though. Okay, so focus this down a little bit. I hope this works. My table's only so big. So what I did was I made this template for myself. It's a 1/2-inch cardstock, about 5 layers. If you have something that can be a little bit on the stiff side, it'll last a while and it'll just speed things up for you. Okay, so what I do is I put it here, bring my fabric over, and now I've created my 1/2-inch pocket that's going to be on both ends. Take the iron real quick and give that a press like that. Okay, then after that's pressed, it's not very hot. Okay, try that again. It's because I just turned the iron back on. I already did all of my pile for this, so I have 75 pieces. That's wrong. I have enough elastic to do 75 masks, so that's my goal today. I don't think I'm going to get there, but we'll see. If you could decide how many you can actually do a day, then you can set up the night before for that, and it'll just speed things up the next day, being that Erin and her people are going to pick up every single day to get these distributed as fast as possible. So we all need to figure out how many we can actually do, and then work towards that goal every day. Okay, so then I fold it in half and I crease the bottom. And I know some people may think this is a waste of time, but I think it actually saves me time in the long run. Okay, so now that's all done like that. Then I come back over to my work table. All right, and now move that out of the way. So then after I get it back to the work table, then I take my ruler and a pencil. I open that up. The chat is in my way. I hope you guys can see this. It's blocking my phone. So I'm hoping you guys are seeing what I'm showing you. So then I take my pencil and my ruler and I mark it, a little mark at 1.5 and a little mark at 6. After I do that, after I do my pile and do that, okay, then the next step is to bring it over to the sewing machine and actually throw a little stitch in there like that, back and forth. Remember, that's going to be a thin wire in between those two marks, so you want to go back and forth a little bit so that the wire doesn't go through there, okay, and that'll help house it. After you do that, then the next step is to actually, let me show you how. Oh, here we go. So the next step, I hope this is on camera. Is to grab the wire and just tuck it in there the best you can. And then bring it over to the machine and run your stitch there. And then after you got that done, then run a stitch on this side also. You don't want to close off the ends now because we need that. All right. So then you end up with this. Oops, wrong one. Huh, I didn't do that one. Interesting. Here we go. So then you end up with this. So yeah, it's this and then this. Okay. After you do that, then I'm not going to actually take the time to sew, but I will if you really want me to. But then you take your elastic. This is why the pressing. So now I have that crease there. I'm going to stick the elastic right in there like that. Oops, I don't think I was on camera. So the pressed crease, I'm going to stick the elastic right in there like that. Make sure these ends meet and bring it over to the sewing machine and then throw your stitch in on that. Sorry guys, I actually made the same mistake when I was actually trying to figure this all out. Make sure your right sides are together. Critical there. Okay, make sure your right sides are together. Go to your pressed piece right there. Yeah, it's hard not working it right in front of your face. Okay. Okay. Right sides together, and you want to back stitch a little bit over that so it holds the elastic in place. You're going to come all the way up to this point right here. When you reach this point here, reach inside, grab your elastic and bring it back over and put it right on there, and then it'll want to just automatically fall there because you have the seam in, and back stitch there, and that'll hold that. And then you do the exact same thing on the other side. You start down here, use that pressed crease as your guide to where to place your elastic. After you run up to here, reach in, grab it, and put it underneath there. All right. Then after you have that done, turn it so that the right sides are out. All right. And then do your tucks. Now, I know all the YouTubes and everything are saying, go all the way around and do, you know, like a top stitch all the way around. Unnecessary. All right. You just want to top stitch the two ends here and here. That's all that is really necessary. Anything else is just decorative. All right. What I'm doing, this is what most people are going to do, pin it in place. I'm not a big fan of pinning. So what I do is I make my pleats. I take the iron, I press it, and then I bring it over to the machine and I run my stitches in and end up with that. All right. And I guess that's it. I guess. So I think in order to, you know, like mass produce though, figure out how many you can do a day. And then the night before, set up for that. So have your pieces cut. This is where other people that aren't sewing can help out. You could cut the 7.5 by 15, and you can even do the whole pressing process so that you end up with a stack like this, where they're already pressed. You can even go one step further for your sewer, and you can put the little dot on there. That's 1.5 inches from each end. Now, if it doesn't measure exactly 7.5 inches, because they're not always going to measure exactly 7.5 inches, what I've been doing is I put it right at the beginning there. I do my 1.5, and then I mark it at 6, regardless if this is at 7.5. Oh, you can't see that. I just noticed. Sorry. So if this isn't at 7.5, no big deal. Don't worry about coming in 1.5 inches. Just mark it at 6. If it's a little shy, it's a little shy. It's not going to be critical. All right. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that I noticed, like, when I have it on the table and I'm starting to do my first bit of pressing, this bit, the ends aren't exactly always meeting up. Okay, so see, it's a little off. That's not major, but if it's a lot off, then you want to go in there and you want to trim it a little bit, only because it's going to make you making the product a little bit easier. It's not really for, you know, how pretty it looks or anything like that. It's just easier if it is really close to being a match. I think that is about it. But yeah, I think your cutters and anybody else that isn't a sewer, if they can do any of these steps ahead of time, it would leave the sewers to just worry about sewing, instead of like me sitting here last night and I cut up 75 of these, and I trimmed up, I cut all of the elastic if it was a 1/2 inch, I cut it in half first, and then I made my 7-inch pieces. These are 7 inches. These are 4 inches. I'm trying to think, what am I not telling you guys? The material is 7.5 by 15 inches. I'm finding this length here is running just under 3 inches. I do spot check them and see if they're close, because it's easy for them not to be exact on both sides, and it's not going to be, but I do spot check them, because my very first one was off like by a 1/2 inch, and it was like, not cool. All right, I guess that's it. So everybody stay safe, stay well, and thank you everybody that's helping Erin, and good luck to everybody. See you soon.